Part 11. The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami Gua. Chapter 101. Li Chen lowered his head, his mind was a mess. Even though he was smart, he was confused. Xiao Wu was so young, she would definitely not lie. In other words, Li Nanfei was really her biological brother. Xiao Wu and him didn't look very similar, but it was obvious. Li Nanfei was too similar. Now, Li Chen began to doubt himself, whether he really lost his memory. Or did he play a little too much at the beginning, so he left the seed? Who is the mother of the child? Li Chuanxing said seriously. I really don't know. Li Chen grabbed his hair, and the two old people just didn't believe him. Li Chen, you disappoint us so much, where is the responsibility of a man? It's not mine, I don't have any responsibility. Li Chen suddenly remembered that the little guy came to find his mother, so he waved to Li Biwu and Li Nanfei at the same time. Come here. The two little guys ran to Li Chen hand in hand. Xiao Wu, what's your mom's name? Mom is just Mom. Li Biwu blinked her big eyes. Dad is so stupid. Li Chen. You said you and your mother were lost. Li Chen stared at Li Nanfei, trying to find some flaws from the face of this little kid. Yeah, Li Nanfei nodded obediently, with a cute face. No matter how you look at him, he is a good baby. She is your sister? Yeah. Then who am I? Daddy. Puff, Grandpa, don't hit, stop, this little kid is lying. Li Chen jumped to avoid it, but he didn't know that Li Chuanlong would use his weapon when he didn't agree with him. Even if he was a dark power expert, he didn't dare to use his power. It would be bad if he hit his grandfather. So, the place where he was hit really hurt. Grandpa is so powerful. Li Nanfei looked at Li Chuanlong with admiration. Hearing the little guy's praise, Li Chuanlong couldn't help but straighten his chest and hit him even harder. Li Chen narrowed his eyes, stared at Li Nanfei and said, little guy, you lied to me. What? Li Nanfei pouted his lips, with an innocent look on his face. He arched into Li Chuanlong's arms, turned into a little puppy, and said, Grandpa, Daddy is mean to me. Grandpa, don't hit me, I'm your grandson. 10 minutes later. Li Chen smoked a cigarette in distress. This matter has made his mind a mess. He knew that the little brat in front of him was not simple, but the key was that there was no evidence. He called him uncle before. How come he called him dad in the blink of an eye? This is obviously a problem. Unfortunately, Li Chuanlong and Li Chuanxing didn't believe it. They all believed that it was Li Chen who abandoned the child's mother. Now, the child's mother has returned with the child, but the child's mother doesn't want to see him. It makes sense. Third Grandpa and Grandpa asked Li Chen to reflect on which girl he had a crush on back then. Li Chen was in a big headache. He had so much fun back then, who knows which girl he had a child with. Li Chen wanted to deny it, but the problem was that this little guy really looked too much like him. Even if Li Nanfei was lying, Xiao Wu wouldn't. He called Sanguo as soon as he came, so he must be his real brother. Li Chuanlong and Li Chuanxing were very happy. Although they liked Xiao Wu before. But after all, this was not Li Chen's flesh and blood. The appearance of Li Nanfei gave them hope. The two siblings looked so much like Li Chen, they didn't believe it was really okay. Xiao Wu just called Xiao Fei the third brother. Does Li Chen have two more children? Li Chuanxing asked in confusion. There's more, there's more. Li Chuanlong stroked his beard and said with a smile. The more children the Li family had, the more relieved he was. At least, it was worthy of Li Chen's dead parents. It would also be worthy of the ancestors of the Li family, so that he would not be ashamed to see people after his death. What's the big deal about the child? Just raise him. I just don't know who the child's mother is. Li Biwu and Li Nanfei squatted on the ground, sticking their butts out to look at the ants. Xiao Wu. Yeah, Li Biwu watched with relish, and Dao Du also ran over to imitate the little master and sticking his butt out to watch. You go back with your brother. The maturity and calmness shown by Li Nanfei at this time were completely different from the innocence and cuteness before. Li Biwu was startled, staring at Li Nanfei blankly and said, "Why do you want to go? This is not our home. Mom misses you very much, do you know?" Li Nanfei said seriously. Thinking of Mom, Li Biwu's eyes suddenly turned red. "Be good, go back with your brother today, okay?" Li Nanfei comforted like a little adult. "No, I want to be with my dad. I want to take my dad back," Li Biwu shook her head stubbornly. Hearing this, Li Nanfei's face flushed with anger. "He is not your dad. He is just plain." Li Biwu stared at Li Nanfei angrily. "Stinky Sangguo, I don't like you at all." Looking at the stubborn and stupid sister in front of him, Li Nanfei gritted his teeth and said angrily, "Our dad died a long time ago. Dad is not dead, Dad is not dead." Li Biwu stomped his feet in anger and pushed Li Nanfei to the ground fiercely. "He is dead. Sangguo is a bad guy, woo woo." Li Biwu couldn't argue with Li Nanfei, so he turned around and cried. Li Nanfei felt uncomfortable watching his stupid sister crying for a wild man. Staring at Li Chen in the distance, Li Nanfei gritted his teeth. This man must have drugged his sister. He must expose this bad guy and take his sister away. "Xiao Wu, be good. It's all my fault." Li Nanfei hugged Li Biwu's little head and comforted her. "Woo woo woo." Li Biwu had a snot bubble, then grabbed Li Nanfei's clothes and wiped it. Li Nanfei's little face suddenly turned black. He endured the discomfort and let his sister wipe her snot on him. This is his own sister. It will pass if he endures it. Li Biwu stopped crying after being comforted by Li Nanfei, and Li Nanfei was relieved. "Xiao Wu. Then let's stay here for a while and then go back, okay?" "Okay," Li Biwu smiled in an instant. Looking at his naive and silly sister, Li Nanfei pouted. "No wonder you were deceived. It's really embarrassing for your brother." After feeling disgusted with his stupid sister for a while, Li Nanfei asked again, "Is he good to you?" Li Nanfei still remembered what Zhao Shanchuan said, that this place was old and poor, and it was inconvenient to eat, wear, live, and travel. He only realized now that this place broke his perception of poverty. "This is not poor at all, this is simply primitive. Dad is very good to Xiao," Li Biwu said with a proud look on his face, showing off. "Can he be as good to you as we are?" Li Nanfei curled his lips in disdain. What good can there be in such a poor place? He couldn't understand why his foodie sister liked to stay with this man. "Sangguo, come on." Li Biwu ran into the house and waved to Li Nanfei. Don't look at Li Nanfei's small age, but he has been exposed to the entertainment industry since he was a child, and he is really a smart person. Acting and deceiving people are nothing. Seeing Xiao waving at him, he had no choice but to follow. "Sangguo, do you want to play with toys?" Li Biwu asked. "No." "Childish," Li Nanfei pouted, although he had never played with any toys. As for the things in Disneyland and major amusement parks, he had long been tired of them. When Li Biwu drove out the electric excavator that Li Chen bought for her, Li Nanfei's eyes widened. Li Chen in the kitchen glanced at the two little guys. The atmosphere was very harmonious, and he was relieved. "Woo woo, Daddy." Li Biwu's crying sounded, and Li Chen rushed out and saw the little girl crying loudly. She was fine just now, why did she cry? Li Chuanlong also walked in and saw Li Nanfei sitting on the excavator, playing happily. As for his sister crying, he couldn't hear it at all. Li Biwu stood aside pitifully and complained, Sangguo is a liar, he stole my car." The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami Gua. Chapter 102. Li Biwa cried so hard that she said she didn't want to believe Sanguo anymore. Li Chen looked speechless as he looked at the guy who was almost rolling in the pile of toys. Li Nanfei. Although he still didn't admit that this was his child. But since Li Nanfei called him dad, he felt it necessary to show his father's authority. Are you embarrassed to snatch your sister's toys? Go away. Li Chen wanted to show his father's authority, but was kicked away by Li Chuanlong. What does a child of this age know? Li Chuanlong waved at Li Nanfei, and Li Nanfei came over a little embarrassedly, with a simple and innocent face, which perfectly matched the appearance of a child of this age. He had never played with such toys before, and he couldn't control himself all of a sudden. Perhaps, these toys are very common for other children. But he didn't. Since he was sensible, he had never played with these. After entering the entertainment industry, he became a little adult. Woo woo. Li Biwa started blowing snot bubbles again. It's really miserable. Before Li Nanfei came, she didn't cry many times. After Li Nanfei came, she cried twice a day. Li Chen comforted the little girl for a long time before he comforted her. Xiao Wu, I'm sorry. Li Nanfei stood beside Li Biwu and said with a hum. Li Biwu pouted her rosy lips and didn't want to pay attention to her brother. Xiao Wu, where are you going? I'm looking for Daddy. What's good about looking for him? Daddy's cooking is delicious. Li Biwu raised her little head and said seriously. Li Nanfei laughed when he heard it. What hasn't he eaten? It can be said that he has eaten countless delicacies, and he doesn't know how many big meals he has eaten. He can even ask star chefs to cook for him. He doesn't believe that Li Chen's food can be better than those top chefs. Daddy, Li Biwu didn't want to pay attention to Li Nanfei and ran out. Li Chen boiled water and prepared to wash the lobster. Li Biwu immediately moved a small stool and sat aside, ready to watch Daddy wash the lobster. Li Nanfei took a look at his favorite toy, gritted his teeth, and followed him out. Li Chen glanced at Li Nanfei coming over and said, I'll make lobster for you later. Hearing this, Li Biwu immediately said, it's Xiao. Yes, yes, this is for Xiao. Li Biwu immediately showed a satisfied smile. Foodie. Li Nanfei complained about his stupid sister in his heart, and then sat aside and said, let me help you. Seeing this little guy take the initiative to speak, Li Chen was stunned for a moment and said, just watch, it's not good to be pinched. I'm very smart. How can this little thing pinch me? Li Nanfei snorted and said rather proudly. Looking at the guy with a little arrogant face, Li Chen couldn't help laughing. I seemed to be quite arrogant back then, but definitely not as arrogant as this guy. Don't move, it hurts. Li Chen stood up and prepared to bring hot water to wash the lobster. Ah! Just as Li Chen was about to come out with hot water, Li Nanfei screamed. Papa Papa! Li Biwu jumped around anxiously, pointing at the screaming Li Nanfei and said, Sangwo was bitten. Li Chen rushed out and saw that there were two lobsters pinching Li Nanfei's little fingers. Even though his mind was far superior to his peers, he was still just a child after all. Even if an adult was pinched, it would be very painful, let alone a child. Li Chen looked at Li Nanfei, whose tears were streaming, and rushed over to take the lobster off. Woo woo. The little arrogant boy was not arrogant at all at this time, and he lay in Li Chen's arms and cried loudly. He never thought that these seemingly small guys would pinch so painfully. Guo Guo, don't cry. Li Biwu stood by to comfort him, and it seemed like he was gloating. As a result, Li Nanfei cried even harder. Ah! The more Li Nanfei cried, the more painful his hand felt. Li Chen watched the little guy crying sadly, and could only hold him to apply medicine. There was no skin breakage or bleeding, but it was slightly red and swollen. Li Chuanlong heard his precious great-grandson crying, and hurried over to hold him and coax him for a while. Li Nanfei, with red eyes, was like a deflated ball, and he didn't cry or make a fuss anymore. He was probably tired of crying. You are such a fool. You wash the lobsters yourself. Why do you let your children help you? You are already a father of several children. Can you be more sensible? No. Only my precious great-grandson is fine. Otherwise, I will beat you to death. Li Chen sighed. There is no human rights at all. When did his family status become the bottom? Seeing Li Chuanlong scolding Li Chen, Li Nanfei also burst into tears and laughed. Li Nanfei, who was held by Li Chuanlong, felt extremely warm at this moment. He had never had such an experience and feeling, and he didn't know that being spoiled was like this. In that family, except for this little fool, none of their brothers and sisters were happy. Even their mother was the same. As for being held and spoiled, Li Nanfei had never enjoyed it at all. He originally disdained these things, but at this moment, he was reluctant to leave Li Chuanlong's arms. Even though, he knew that all this was fake. Li Nanfei sniffed, shook his head, and secretly warned himself that this was all an illusion. His father had died a long time ago, and his mother said it herself, how could it be false? Besides, there was no need for his mother to lie to her 4 brothers and sisters. As for the family in front of him, Li Nanfei admitted that it was not bad. However, Li Chen would never be his biological father. Only a little idiot would be so stubborn as to think that Li Chen was her father. Li Nanfei looked at his sister Li Bi was staying by Li Chen's side, with a smile on her face, and felt a little envious. But immediately he became alert in his heart. This would not work. His little idiot sister would definitely be reluctant to leave. He had to think of a way. Ha ha. Li Biwu was amused by Li Chen. Looking at this scene, Li Nanfei suddenly felt a little sour in his heart. He also wanted to be amused by Li Chen in the past. But when he thought about how he was pinched by the lobster just now and screamed, his little face turned red again. 3 pots, Li Biwu waved his chubby little hands at Li Nanfei with the scalded crayfish. Li Chuanlong looked at Li Nanfei who was clinging to him and wanted to go down, so he said, go play, those lobsters are dead. The gentle and encouraging words made Li Nanfei's heart tremble again. He suddenly felt that it would be nice to have such a great-grandfather. No, no. Li Nanfei shook his head violently. He came to save Xiao Wu and must not fall for the illusion here. The next second. Is it really dead? Li Nanfei poked the lobster that had been dead for a long time and said happily. He had already sat next to Li Chen and Li Biwu. Shit. Li Nanfei looked at his sister who didn't speak standardly, and said with a little face, it's dead. Yes, shit. Li Nanfei moved away a little with some disgust. The stupid sister was hopeless. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami Gua. Chapter 103. Sanguo, Li Biwu did not notice the disdain from her own brother. Seeing Li Nanfei move, she also moved with a smile. Don't get close to me. I want it. Li Biwu laughed, her eyes curved into crescents. Sanguo came to accompany her, so she didn't have to worry about it in the future. Looking at her silly sister, Li Nanfei sighed, and his eyes turned to Li Chen who was concentrating on brushing lobsters. Not to mention, this man is quite handsome when he is brushing lobsters seriously. However, he is still not as handsome as himself and his elder brother. Li Nanfei thought to himself, looking at Li Chen. The silly sister was abducted, but she is so close to this man, so he should not be the one who abducted her sister. But who abducted her sister? Why does her silly sister insist on calling the man in front of her dad? Although he couldn't resist the man in front of him. But my mother said that many people in this world can't be trusted easily. Outside, you can't trust strangers. Li Nanfei was so entangled. His stupid sister didn't want to go home, so how could he surprise his mother? His eyes rolled around, but he was thinking about countermeasures. Should I trick this man out together? It's better to see my mother's reaction. Although Li Nanfei is young, he is not small-minded at all, and he has many tricks. Although my mother said that their father had passed away long ago. But Xiao Wu is too attached to this man. More importantly, he is so similar to him. Li Nanfei entered the big divat of the entertainment industry, and with his precociousness, he actually understands a lot of things. He now seriously suspects that even if this man is not his biological father, he is afraid that he has a certain blood relationship. Otherwise, his sister is like him, and he is like him. The probability of saying that there is no relationship is too low. I want to pee. Li Nanfei suddenly said. Li Chen paused while brushing the lobster, glanced at Li Nanfei's crotch, pointed to the toilet and said, "You are a boy, your sister didn't ask me to help you go to the toilet, go by yourself." Oh, Li Nanfei nodded disappointedly. What is peeing? Li Biwu looked at Li Chen innocently. Ahem. Li Chen pulled Li Biwu to sit on a small stool beside him. Don't learn from your brother. Okay, Li Biwu smiled and didn't pursue the issue. Turning around, the disappointment on Li Nanfei's face disappeared, rushed into the house, and then took Li Chen's mobile phone. From the bag beside him, he took out a phone card. Li Nanfei glanced outside, made sure that Li Chen would not come in, and quickly pressed the phone card. Li Nanfei rushed into the toilet and dialed the number skillfully. Uncle. Master, Zhao Shanchuan's voice sounded. Can you help me with something? Master, tell me. Can you trick my dad? Ugh, can you trick Li Chen out? What do you mean? I suspect, he should know my mom, Li Nanfei said seriously. There was a gasp from the other end of the phone. Master, I'm afraid this won't work. Li Nanfei sighed like a frosted eggplant. Yes, this is unrealistic. Master, if you have any doubts, you can do a DNA test directly, Zhao Shanchuan suggested. Hearing this, Li Nanfei's eyes lit up like light bulbs. Yeah. Why didn't I think of it? Uncle, you're so smart, Li Nanfei said happily. I'll find a way to get his hair. Master, be careful. The two hung up the phone. As soon as Li Nanfei opened the door, he screamed in fear. Standing at the door was his stupid sister. Sangguo. Looking at the innocent big eyes and the little face that seemed to be very smart but actually very stupid, Li Nanfei covered his chest and didn't come back to his senses for a long time. Why are you here? Dad asked me to see you. Li Biwu looked inside like a curious cat and said, what were you doing just now? Li Nanfei's heart skipped a beat. Would his stupid sister tell on him? What did you hear just now? Li Nanfei squinted his eyes and prepared to ask questions. Li Biwu tilted his head and thought for a while. I really want to hear. Xiao. Yeah. Third brother will take you to eat roast goose, Beijing roast duck, skewers of fragrant hot pot, pot-wrapped pork, fried eel shreds, lychee meat, and Buddha jumps over the wall. Okay, Li Nanfei said in one breath. Gulp. There was a trace of crystal saliva at the corners of Li Biwu's mouth, and his mind was full of the images of these delicacies. Sangguo, Li Biwu swallowed again, took Li Nanfei's hand and laughed. Let's go. Li Nanfei smiled and said, what did I say just now? Roast goose, Peking duck, chuangziang hot pot. Li Biwu said all in one breath, without missing a single one. Then what did I say in the toilet? I said, I don't remember. Very good, Li Nanfei smiled with relief, touched the little girl's head, turned around and left. Li Biwu, omega omega. Sangguo, Aren't you going to take me to a good place? Did you? Sangwo, you lied. You remembered it wrong. I didn't. Woo woo. Li Chen, who was brushing lobsters, sighed and ran over to see Li Biwu crying again. Xiao Wu, what's wrong? Sanguo is a big bad guy. When this child is anxious, he doesn't speak standardly, which makes Li Chen feel headache. Sure enough, no matter whether it is an older brother or a younger brother, they always like to bully their older sister or younger sister. Li Biwu was made to cry by Li Nanfei again today. Li Chen has confirmed that this is definitely born by the same mother. Otherwise, few people would be willing to bully such a cute little girl. Okay, don't cry. Li Chen picked up Li Biwu, walked outside and said, Dad will make you delicious crayfish today, and make you your favorite meat, okay. Li Biwu, who was crying loudly, stopped crying immediately, sniffed, and said, Dear. Of course it's true. Li Biwu pinched Li Biwu's red nose, and Li Biwu burst into laughter, and a big snot bubble came out. Li Chen. After finishing Li Biwu, Li Chen sat down again to wash the lobster. Li Nanfei had gone to play with Li Biwu's toys. Although he was mentally precocious, it did not affect his childish side. As a highly regarded child star and young actor, he was actually just a child in essence. Slow down, Li Chuanlong watched from the side. Li Chuanlong was no longer thinking about it, no matter who the pair of dolls belonged to. Anyway, now they were his children in his Li family. Li Biwu had Li Chen to coax her, so Li Nanfei had to be taken care of by him. Li Nanfei completely let himself go, and he could play with an excavator for half an hour without getting tired. Li Chen and Li Biwu washed the lobster clean, and then carried the things into the house. Xiao, come and play. Li Nanfei was sweating profusely from playing, and greeted his sister. Humph, Li Biwu stomped her chubby little feet, I won't play with you. Holding Li Chen's little finger, Li Biwu followed Li Chen into the kitchen. Li Nanfei looked at Li Chen doting on Li Biwu so much, and suddenly felt that toys were not so interesting. Ming Ming was still unsure whether the man in front of him had any relationship with his family, but now Li Chen only doted on Li Biwu and didn't pay much attention to him, and he felt very uncomfortable. The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami Gua. Chapter 104. Just when Li Nanfei was in a daze, Li Chuanlong came over with a dry towel. Li Chuanlong picked him up and wiped his sweat attentively. The old man in front of him was very gentle and delicate. Even when wiping his sweat, he was very focused. Is it hot? Your clothes are wet. Take a shower later. Li Chuanlong's concerned words made Li Nanfei's heart tremble again. He stared blankly at the old man who put another dry towel on his back to separate his clothes from his back. The old man's eyes were full of kindness. What's wrong? Li Chen poked his head out. The follower Li Biwu also poked his little head out. He sweated a lot. Let's take a shower first, Li Chuanlong said. Oh, okay, Li Chen nodded. He didn't refuse. Li Nanfei widened his eyes. Xiao Wu, play with grandpa first. Okay. Li Biwu stepped into Li Chuanlong's arms with her short legs. A giggle reached Li Nanfei's ears. The scene in front of him was what Li Nanfei had longed for a long time. Although this family was poor, he actually felt warm. That family was extremely luxurious, but everyone was scheming against each other. Li Nanfei's psychological gap was huge. He was still in a trance, and he felt like he was flying in the clouds. When he came to his senses, he found that he was already in the arms of this man. He could even feel the strong heartbeat of this man. This feeling of being held by him was very comfortable, very wonderful, and very reassuring. Li Nanfei was a little distracted, but soon calmed down. I can't be careless. I'm not sure whether this family is good people. Li Nanfei warned himself with such a flimsy reason. Coming to the bathroom, it is much more convenient to take a bath now because a solar water heater has been installed. Li Chen carried Li Nanfei to the bathroom and prepared to take off his clothes. Li Nanfei took 2 steps back in fear. What? Are you afraid of me? Who is afraid of you? Li Nanfei raised his chin, unwilling to be outdone. I am the best actor. He is also the most popular child star at the moment. Thinking of this, Li Nanfei sighed again. He was so popular, but the man in front of him didn't recognize him. If you are not afraid, why are you hiding? Or are you shy? Li Chen smiled. Although the little guy in front of him looked like him, he was too arrogant. I am not shy. Then take off your clothes yourself. I am not, you go out. What are you doing? Li Chen looked at Li Nanfei, who was huddled in the corner, covering his body, and laughed so hard that he almost sat on the ground. Li Nanfei stared at the man in front of him who was laughing heartily, gritting his teeth in hatred. He was actually stripped naked. Crash! Li Chen ignored Li Nanfei's angry look, turned on the hot water shower head, tested the water temperature with his hand, and poured it on Li Nanfei. Li Chen grabbed Li Nanfei, who was struggling again, and said seriously, "Don't move." Li Nanfei subconsciously did as he was told, and saw Li Chen squeezed a little shampoo and rubbed it roughly on his head. Another burst of water rushed down, and Li Nanfei felt the towel messing around on his head. After Li Chen finished washing his hair, Li Nanfei suddenly woke up. When had he ever been threatened like this? He wanted to struggle again. But he saw Li Chen looking at him gently, and squeezed a little shower gel to rub his body. Although his bathing skills were really poor, he was very careful and serious. Li Nanfei snorted, and wanted you to wash me for the time being. After all, no one else has this opportunity. Li Nanfei thought to himself that this was a gift to the man in front of him. Swish! The water rushed down, and Li Nanfei smelled fragrant. Li Chen was about to wipe him, but Li Nanfei was about to dodge. I've seen you naked, what are you afraid of? I'll do it myself. Li Nanfei covered his little bird. Tisk dash. Li Chen laughed, he was still shy at such a young age. He handed the towel to Li Nanfei, but Li Chen did not go out. This made Li Nanfei's face stiffen suddenly. What on earth did this man want to do? Did he still want to watch him wipe his body? Li Chen seemed to not understand what he meant, just looking at him, to see if he would wipe it or not. In the end, Li Nanfei surrendered, turned around, and wiped it with his back to Li Chen. Where are my clothes? Wet. Li Nanfei was stunned. Could it be that my great actor was going to be naked? Thinking of what was about to happen, he couldn't help but want to hit the wall. There are no clothes for you at home for now. You can wear mine or your sister's. You choose one. Li Nanfei. Are you a devil? I'm a boy. You actually let me wear my sister's clothes. If this gets out, will I, Li Nanfei, still be able to act? I'll wear yours. Li Nanfei gritted his teeth. This man definitely did it on purpose. I still thought he was a good person. Li Chen handed his shorts to Li Nanfei. Anyway, he's just a kid, and he's dressed casually. Wearing his own clothes outside, it's a bit hip-hop. Li Chen nodded with satisfaction, ignoring Li Nanfei's disgusted look. Li Chen picked up Li Nanfei and walked out of the bathroom. Angry Li Nanfei's eyes fell on Li Chen's shoulder, there was hair. Li Nanfei's eyes lit up, he quietly stretched out his little hand, ready to pick up the hair. Unexpectedly, Li Chen suddenly put him down. Li Nanfei's outstretched hand froze in mid-air. Just a little bit, really just a little bit. What are you doing? I think the clothes are too big. Li Nanfei retracted his little hand and pointed at the clothes. Just wear it. Li Chen walked into the kitchen. Li Nanfei breathed a sigh of relief, Fortunately he was not discovered. It's just that he didn't seize the great opportunity just now. It seems that he has to keep working hard. Li Nanfei hid at the door, looking at Li Chen's most loyal supporter in the kitchen, and pouted. Foodie. Squatting on the chair, and Daodu staring at the person who was cooking, it was naturally Li Biwu. As a brother, Li Nanfei is completely understandable. However, he still didn't quite believe in Li Biwu's taste. After all, this stupid and foodie sister is not very picky about food. What she called delicious, Li Nanfei felt that he had to question it. The kitchen was very smoky, and Li Nanfei didn't want to go in, so he walked outside in his loose clothes. Grandpa. Sci-fi, Li Chuanlong was sitting under the eaves, splitting the cut bamboo. Li Nanfei walked up curiously, and asked with big eyes full of curiosity, "What is this for?" Li Chuanlong pointed to the small stool, and Li Nanfei immediately sat down obediently. "This is a small bamboo rocking chair." "What is a small bamboo rocking chair for?" Li Nanfei asked again, a bit chatty. Li Chuanlong really liked the innocent question from the child. "Of course it's for you and Xiao. It's hot now, the bamboo bed is broken, you will be much more comfortable if you have your own small bamboo rocking chair." Li Chuanlong pointed to the old bamboo bed in the house, and Li Nanfei's heart was slightly shocked. He just came here, and this old man wanted to make a bamboo bed for them by himself? Li Nanfei's young heart was shaken several times today. He could no longer think that Li Chen's family was a bad guy. If such lovely old people are bad people, then are there any good people in this world? "Grandpa." "Thank you." Li Nanfei's nose was sour and he threw himself into Li Chuanlong's arms. The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami Gua. Chapter 105. Li Chuanlong didn't expect that this little child would suddenly run into his arms. He still held bamboo and a knife in his hands. If he got scratched, he would be in big trouble. But when he heard Li Nanfei's slightly crying tone, Li Chuanlong felt soft again, put down his tools, patted the little guy's head and said, "You kid, why are you still crying? Come." Li Chuanlong picked up Li Nanfei, put him on his lap, and said seriously, "Boys can't cry easily no matter when or where they are, you know. As a man, as a brother, you have to take your own responsibilities, and you have to learn to protect your sister, you know." "Yeah," Li Nanfei nodded heavily. Someone had said this before, but he couldn't listen at all. But when the old man in front of him said this, he was not dignified, but he felt that it made sense. "Then sit tight and watch Grandpa make a small bamboo rocking chair for you." "Okay." Li Nanfei slid down and sat on the small horse stand beside him. Li Chuanlong smiled and started construction. Making bamboo utensils is a very troublesome thing, and if you are inexperienced, you are likely to cut your fingers. Li Chuanlong hasn't touched these things for many years, but that doesn't mean he has forgotten them. The appearance of the two children made Li Chuanlong's mood greatly improve. The originally dead heart gradually became revitalized. He himself cannot be decadent, otherwise how can Li Chen live a better life with his children? Although he was unconscious for so long, Li Chuanlong also understood some things. Li Chen, ready for revenge. He is old and can't be of much help. But he can still help Li Chen take care of the children. He doesn't have many wishes now. One is to avenge his son and daughter-in-law, and the other is to see Li Chen marry the child's mother. He has no regrets. The bamboos were split one by one, and then Li Chuanlong began to prune them. Inside the house, the fragrance fills the room. 3 pots. At some point, Li Biwu, who had stuck out his little head, stood at the door, smiling and looking at Li Nanfei, who was looking attentive. Li Nanfei glanced at his foodie sister, who was holding a bright red lobster in her hand. Li Nanfei swallowed without leaving a trace, and saw Li Biwu walking over. "Do you want second place?" Li Nanfei actually wanted to try it because it tasted so good. Don't want. He shook his head, feeling that he should be more reserved and not imitate the foodie sister. Li Biwu's eyes flashed with joy. If the pot fails 3 times, then this is mine. Li Biwu held up the crayfish, licked it twice, and walked away happily. Li Nanfei. Although he was making a small bamboo rocking chair, Li Chuanlong had been observing these 2 little guys. When he saw Li Biwu leaving without any hypocrisy and Li Nanfei's dark little face, Li Chuanlong almost couldn't help but laugh. This character is really similar to Li Chen's when he was a child. He's obviously so greedy that he's still pretending to be reserved. There is no one left. Seeing Li Nanfei lowering his head in depression, Li Chuanlong refused to persuade him. It doesn't matter if you are arrogant or fake and reserved. At least, this shows that he still has some self-control. After a while, Li Biwu came out again carrying a small bowl. More fragrant and more tempting. Li Nanfei felt his stomach growl uncontrollably. Li Biwu clumsily held the small bowl and quietly walked to Li Nanfei again. Li Nanfei glanced at the food in his stupid sister's bowl and recognized it. This was fried eel. That man can actually cook this dish? Gilug. Li Nanfei swallowed, but he was afraid that his sister would find out, so he didn't look at the food in the bowl. He decided this time, if Xiao Wu asked himself, he would say eat. This is definitely not because he is hungry, but because he wants to see how good this man's cooking skills are. 3 pots. Li Biwu spoke again. A faint smile appeared on Li Nanfei's lips. He knew his stupid sister's tricks all too well. Would you like to introduce me to someone else? Li Biwu asked, holding a small bowl. You can have a try, Li Nanfei responded very calmly. Not surprisingly, I should be able to eat it this time. Bah, Li Biwu sprayed twice into the bowl and said with a smile, I like it too, I won't give it to you. Turning around, the little girl skipped away. Li Nanfei. Li Chuanlong on the side couldn't bear it anymore and burst out laughing. Wow! Li Nanfei has never been so sad. He was a great actor, but he was deceived by his stupid sister. Be good, don't cry, haha. Li Chuanlong smiled unkindly while comforting Li Nanfei who was crying on his lap. He didn't think Xiao Wu was that bad, he only liked such a brat. Li Chuanlong and Li Nanfei were the same. They never expected that Li Biwu would become smarter. The key is that he still knew that he had lied to Li Nanfei. Li Nanfei felt that his intelligence had been insulted, so he burst into tears. Li Chen, who was cooking in the kitchen, sighed. I'm afraid these 2 naughty kids are born to be tough to deal with, right? He could tell that Li Nanfei matured precociously. This kind of child is generally relatively calm and rational. It is really not easy for children of the same age to make him cry. Only his own sister could make him so angry. Li Chen calculated that the number of times Li Nanfei cried today was almost the same as Li Biwu. These are just 2 children. When he thought of the 2 more children above Li Biwu and Li Nanfei, he suddenly had a headache. These children should not be his own, otherwise he would not be able to resist. Li Biwu lay on the edge of the chair, sticking out her little butt, happily eating the crispy fried eel shreds with her saliva. Woof woof, Daodu, who was already at Xiao's waist, called out flatteringly. Li Biwu was still generous to his little playmate, picking up the eel shreds and throwing them to Daodu. Daodu ate the food and immediately rubbed Li Biwu, the little master is still good to me. Today's dishes are also hard dishes. However, Li Chen still pays attention to the combination of meat and vegetables. Meat is of course to be eaten, but vegetables are also indispensable. Once the human body is unbalanced, problems will arise. Therefore, in addition to lobsters and eels, Li Chen also prepared potato chips and stir-fried cucumbers. Grandpa, let's get ready for dinner, Li Chen shouted. There was going to be one more person at the table, and Li Chen was still a little uncomfortable. Li Chuanlong came in with Li Nanfei, who was crying and had red eyes, and put him next to Li Biwu. "Sanguo, what's wrong with you?" "Ahem," Li Chen almost choked. He knew Xiao Wu had no ill intentions. But this silly and heartless greeting was like a needle stick in Li Nanfei's heart. "Humph," Li Nanfei turned his head away angrily, indicating that he didn't want to pay attention to the sister. Li Chuanlong didn't intervene, and let the two siblings solve their own problems. Li Chen put the prepared small bowl in front of the two of them and started eating by himself. Looking at the delicious food on the table, Li Nanfei licked his lips. "Ah," Li Biwu took a big bite and showed a satisfied smile on his face. "Foodie," Li Nanfei muttered in his heart, and then he elegantly picked up the lobster that he had been craving for a long time. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami Gua. Chapter 106. Delicious. Eat slowly. Li Chuanlong peeled the shell for Li Nanfei and put the lobster tail into Li Nanfei's bowl. This crayfish is more spicy, but there is not too much chili this time. The more Li Nanfei eats, the more he likes it. The more he eats, the more he enjoys it. Thinking of the crayfish he ate before, two words came to Li Nanfei's mind: garbage. Yes. It's garbage. The crayfish in front of him made him feel that this is what life should be like, this is the real crayfish. And fried eel shreds. He really didn't expect that this man who was only a little less handsome than himself and his elder brother could make something more delicious than a star chef. Even potato chips and stir-fried cucumbers are so delicious. Burp. Li Nanfei couldn't eat any more. He looked at his bulging stomach and felt that he would burst out if he ate another bite. So cool. Looking at the two little guys leaning on the chair with their legs spread out, Li Chen smiled with satisfaction. Li Chuanlong and Li Chen didn't eat much. When they were 70% full, they were already full. The speed of stomach feedback is actually quite slow. When you feel 70% full, you are actually full. When you feel really full, you are actually full. Eating too much is a burden on the stomach. Li Chen can allow Li Biwu and Li Nanfei to eat occasionally, but he will never allow them to eat often. Li Chuanlong got up with a smile, took the teacup and went out to bask in the sun. After eating and drinking enough, it is easy to feel sleepy. Drinking a cup of tea can relieve the greasiness. It can also cheer up. Li Chen got up to clean the table. The table was full of lobster and eel bones, which were the masterpieces of the two little guys. 3 pots. Huh, Li Nanfei replied lazily. Your belly is bigger than mine. Li Nanfei was startled, sat up straight, and said seriously, you saw it wrong. Yours is bigger than mine. Li Nanfei. He gave up sucking his belly. Mainly because he was too full. I told you a long time ago that the food cooked by Daddy is delicious, Li Biwu said proudly. You didn't believe it at first. Li Nanfei blushed. This stupid sister always likes to slap him in the face. I won't play with you anymore. Li Nanfei got down from the chair and slipped out of the kitchen. Li Biwu saw his brother go out, so he also took his short legs and chased him out with his little follower Daodu. Sanguo. Sanguo, wait for me. Don't follow me, Li Nanfei said. Then I won't say that your belly is big. Li Nanfei's face was dark. Didn't you say you wouldn't say it? Then why are you still saying it? Sanguo. Daddy said he would take us to buy clothes this afternoon. Li Nanfei's face looked better. Really? Yeah, Li Biwu counted on his fingers and said, Dad said he would only buy clothes for Xiao Wu, not for Sanguo. Li Nanfei stood up silently. He realized that this little idiot was here to piss him off. Li Biwu looked at his brother's back as he left angrily, tilting his head, wondering why he had angered Sanguo again. Seeing Li Nanfei sitting quietly beside his great-grandfather, Li Biwu also moved his own little stool and sat over. The two siblings sat around Li Chuanlong on the left and right. Sanguo. What are you doing? Li Nanfei stared at his sister. Sanguo. What do you want to do? I don't want to do anything, I'll call you. Li Nanfei felt like he was going crazy. He suddenly felt that taking his fourth sister back was not a good decision. Or should I leave her here? Just as Li Nanfei was thinking about this, he found that someone was pounding his shoulders. It was Li Biwu. The little girl stood behind him with a bright smile on her face, and used her small hands to clumsily pound his shoulders. Sanguo, are you comfortable? Did he finally understand that he had to apologize to himself? Li Nanfei thought about it and said, not bad. Then I'll pound you Sanguo, and you'll pound Xiao Wu, okay. Li Biwu stared at Li Nanfei with innocent eyes. Then don't pound me. But I've already pounded you. Did I? I don't know. Li Nanfei decided to play dumb and let me pound your back. Impossible. With Xiao Wu's IQ, he was sure he could fool Xiao Wu. Li Biwu pouted her little mouth, put her chubby little hands on her round little waist, and snorted heavily. After washing the dishes, Li Chen wiped his hands. Li Biwu had gone to play with toys with Daodu, while Li Nanfei sat next to Li Chuanlong. After a while, someone came over. It was the group of villagers who helped to apply the special medicine to wheat yesterday, including Li Jianhua and others. Everyone is here, Li Chen smiled. When they saw Li Nanfei, their expressions became strange. This, your son? Li Jianhua and others looked at Li Nanfei and said in surprise. Li Chen was a little embarrassed and changed the subject. Come on, I will settle everyone's wages. By the way, I have to ask everyone to continue to help today, and also ask everyone to promote it. The land I contract next may still need your help, and I will not give less wages. When they heard this, everyone's eyes lit up. They no longer had to worry about the fields, and at most they could leave a little land to grow some food. The pressure was not great at all. Now, if someone couldn't stay idle, they could come to Li Chen's house to take the job. If they didn't want to move, then they didn't take the job. How comfortable and pleasant life is. However, everyone has worked hard all their lives, and even if they were asked to sit idle, they might not be able to sit idle. What's more, the price Li Chen offered was very high, and everyone was very tempted. After everyone lined up to receive 100 coins, they greeted Li Chuanlong one after another and went home. Li Jianhua, Li Shanfu and others stayed here, and they were very interested in Li Nanfei. After all, Li Nanfei was a child star, so he naturally had acting skills. He called him uncle, and Li Jianhua and others were almost confused. No matter how Li Chen explained, they all agreed that Li Nanfei was Li Chen's son. Otherwise, how could they be so similar? But Li Chen was sure that he really didn't have a child with any woman. Of course, he couldn't remember the previous mess. But the measures have always been in place. Unless the measures are broken. But who knows about this kind of thing? I just paid a total of 1,300, and the rebate is 20 times, which is 26,000. After cleaning up the house, Li Chen said to Li Chuanlong, I'll take them to the town to buy some clothes. Buy some seeds by the way. Okay, Li Chuanlong nodded. He was still making a small bamboo rocking chair for the two little guys. Li Nanfei looked at Li Chen in surprise. He didn't expect that this man would really buy clothes for himself. Let's go. Li Chen waved his hand, and Li Biwu took the initiative to hold Li Chen's hand, happily jumping and ready to set off. Li Nanfei thought about it and followed silently. He didn't have the habit of holding Li Chen's hand, and he couldn't do it. Arrived in the town. Li Nanfei looked at the environment here curiously. He had seen the prosperity of the big city. So I feel that this small town in front of me is really quite ordinary. Li Chen held Li Biwu and led the reluctant Li Nanfei into the children's clothing store. It's you. The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami Gua. Chapter 107. The one who spoke was a female boss. This is also the place where Li Chen came here for the first time to buy clothes for Xiao Wu. Although it is cheap, the clothes are really good. The female boss Shen Yanqing was stunned for a moment when she saw Li Chen holding one in his hand and holding another. She still remembered Li Biwu's cuteness. Now there is another handsome young man who looks more like Li Chen than the little girl. Is this your son? Hello, sister, Li Nanfei stepped forward and smiled sweetly. A little shy, but also a little cute. Shen Yanqing looked at it and wanted to go over and pinch Li Nanfei's little face, and couldn't help but said, "Kid, I'm not a sister, I'm an aunt." "How can any aunt be as young and beautiful as my sister?" Li Nanfei said softly. Li Chen on the side stared wide-eyed. Shen Yanqing was so praised by Li Nanfei that she laughed so hard that she couldn't help but hugged Li Nanfei and said, "Who did you learn this from?" she said and looked at Li Chen. Li Chen's old face turned red. "This is not what I taught you." Li Chen smiled dryly and said, "Pick some clothes for them all." Shen Yanqing smiled and nodded. She didn't know who married him, and felt a little regretful. Bang! Just when Shen Yanqing was about to turn around and choose clothes for the two little guys, the special offer sign outside was kicked over. I saw a woman walking in followed by two burly men. The woman was probably in her 30s, and the foundation on her face was very thick. She glanced at Li Chen and Li Biwu, then looked at Li Nanfei in Shen Yanqing's arms, and finally her eyes fell on Li Chen. "Shen Yanqing, is this your man?" The woman opened her mouth. Her teeth were very yellow and had tartar. It looked like she had smoked a lot. "Sister Li," after seeing the other party, Shen Yanqing turned pale with fright and said, "Give me a little more time. I can get the money together." "Bah," the woman known as Sister Li snorted coldly, "I will give you time, but who will give me time? Today, either this store will be mortgaged to me, or you will come with me." Hearing this, Shen Yanqing's pretty face turned completely pale. Sister Li watched Li Chen standing aside without saying a word, and glanced at him with disgust. Seeing his woman being bullied, this man dared not speak out. What a waste! Shen Yanqing looked struggling and said, "Sister Li, I really don't have enough money, please give me some more time." She put Li Nanfei down and begged. "Take it away." Sister Li was unwilling to say a word, and waved her hand to signal the people behind her to take action. As for Li Chen, this man who dared not say a word from head to toe, although he was handsome, she despised this kind of man who did not dare to stand up. She guessed that this man was probably the pretty boy kept by Shen Yanqing. "What's going on?" Just when Sister Li was about to go out, Li Chen's voice sounded. He was looking at Shen Yanqing. Shen Yanqing winked at Li Chen crazily, hoping he wouldn't interfere. "Yo! I thought you, a loser, didn't dare to speak." Sister Li smiled. "You are not allowed to call me daddy. You are the waste." Li Biwu spat at Sister Li fiercely. Sister Li, who has always been arrogant, has she ever been treated like this? She wiped the saliva from her face, and a ferocious look of anger appeared on her face with thick foundation. "Little bastard, do you dare to spit on me?" Without Sister Li's greeting, these two burly men would come up to teach Li Chen and Li Biwu a lesson. Li Nanfei's face looked a little ugly as he stood there. What should he do now? Although he disliked his stupid sister, he would never allow Li Biwu to be bullied. Li Chen watched the two burly men approaching with cold eyes, took out his mobile phone and said, "How much does she owe you?" Sister Li's anger disappeared a little, and she stared at Li Chen. "Tell me the number," Li Chen spoke again, ignoring the two burly men. 178,000, Sister Li sneered. This is the money Shen Yanqing owes her. Shen Yanqing rushed up quickly, stopped Li Chen, and shook her head slightly at him. She doesn't want Li Chen to pay the money. Li Chen smiled, held up his phone and said, 178,000. Once you pay it back, you'll be fine, right? Yes, Sister Li proudly took out her mobile phone and said, I am the most fair person. I will pay you whatever I owe. Everyone in the town knows my temper. Forwarded to you. Li Chen put away his cell phone, and the sound of arrival came from Sister Li's cell phone, 180,000. 2,000 more. Why is there 2,000 more? Sister Li looked at Li Chen doubtfully, and saw Li Chen suddenly kicked him. Sister Li fell to the ground in pain. My child scolded you and spat on you. Of course it was wrong, but you called her a little bastard. I have to settle this account, Li Chen said coldly. 2,000 yuan will be treated as her. You won't lose the compensation for spitting on you, right? Sister Li, who looked ugly, stood up holding her stomach. You have the guts, let's see. Earned 2,000 more, but got kicked. Is it a loss? Actually it's not a loss. But who is Sister Li? Have you ever suffered a loss? I'm sorry, Shen Yanqing apologized and said, I will pay you back the money I owe you as soon as possible. Who was that person just now? Why do you owe her money? Li Chen asked. She is very rich. She has many shops here. It is said that there are people behind her. She seems to work in a KTV and is a high-level person. I don't know anything else. She bought my shop. Unfortunately, the business is not good. Well, I've been losing money, so I haven't paid back the money I owe, Shen Yanqing sighed. Li Chen nodded and said, it's true that your store can't make any money. So, I'll buy the store. Are you interested in working in my store? Ah. Since you want to pay me back, then help me work to pay back the money, Li Chen said with a smile. I happen to have a store, you can help me manage it, and I will earn a monthly salary of 10,000. Shen Yanqing's eyes widened. 10,000 a month? How can this be? In this small town, a salary of 4,000 is considered a high salary. 10,000, she didn't dare to think about it. How about it? Li Chen said with a smile, of course, you can also think about it. If you think about it, tell me, and I will close the store first. Shen Yanqing immediately said excitedly, I do. Her family background is also not good, and she still has an old mother and younger brother who need money at home. She couldn't lose more money from this store, and now that Li Chen wanted to take over, of course she was happy. But, then if you lose money? Shen Yanqing suddenly woke up, she couldn't cheat her benefactor. Don't worry, since I dare to buy this store, it must have other uses, Li Chen comforted, prepare the contract, we will sign it today. Shen Yanqing seemed to be falling into the clouds, and she didn't expect that she would be liberated like this. This store is not expensive, only worth about 150,000 yuan in a small town, and the store is not very big. Li Chen signed the contract directly, and Shen Yanqing quickly thanked him. Shen Yanqing had to pay this money back to her relatives, and she also had to keep some daily expenses for her family. Therefore, there is really not much she can get. Although she still owes a lot of debt, she finds that there is an extra light in her life. And this beam of light was brought by the man in front of me. Clear all these clothes and sell them when the time comes, Li Chen said, get ready, I will take you to the place where you will work next. The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami Gua. Chapter 108. Okay, Shen Yanqing nodded excitedly. Li Nanfei was standing in a small corner with lingering shock on his face. Zhao Shanchuan's words were still echoing in his mind. Li Chen's family is very poor. Is this what it means to be poor? In the blink of an eye, Li Chen took out 330,000 yuan. If placed in other families, this 330,000 yuan would certainly be nothing. Not even 1% of his salary is enough. But he just came out of Li Chen's house, and that family didn't look like someone with a deposit of 330,000 yuan. Li Chen didn't know the little guy's surprise, nor did he notice the change in his expression. Because I just spent 330,000 yuan, the system has triggered a 20 times rebate again. The system rebates 6.6 million. Host, Li Chen. Wealth, 158,418,581. Skills, ultimate fighting skills. Medical skills, perfect level. Return points, 8,659. Return level, 20 times. 801,300/100,000,000. Currency exchange, 1:20,000. At this moment, Li Chen's system data changed again. When Shen Yanqing prepared Li Nanfei and Li Biwu's clothes, Li Chen took them over. Let's go. Shen Yanqing was about to pick up Li Nanfei, but Li Nanfei refused. Although he didn't dislike Shen Yanqing, he didn't really like being hugged. I just wanted to trick Li Chen, but I didn't succeed. Seeing that Li Nanfei was very stubborn, but instead walked aside like a little adult, Shen Yanqing's eyes grew fonder. Such a smart, cute, and sensible boy is really rare. After all, boys at this age are really disgusting to dogs. Where to go? Li Nanfei asked, raising his head. Only then did he realize that this man seemed anything but simple. I originally thought he was just a simple farmer, but now it seems that he is not. Take you to a fun place. Li Chen smiled and rubbed Li Nanfei's head. Li Nanfei ducked away, his hairstyle messed up again. Shen Yanqing, who was following behind, couldn't help but laugh when she saw this scene. A loving father and a filial son. This is the first adjective that comes to Shen Yanqing's mind. Howen KTV. Since he taught Brother Tiger a lesson and drove them away last time, Li Chen has not taken care of them. Although this thing had fallen into his hands, he really didn't care too much. When Li Chen walked over with Li Biwu in his arms, Li Nanfei and Shen Yanqing, the greeter at the door immediately welcomed him with a smile. Only Shen Yanqing's expression changed slightly. My lord, you. What's wrong? Li Chen also noticed something was wrong with Shen Yanqing's expression. Sister Li's mistress is a high-ranking person here. Even though Shen Yanqing has paid off the money now, she is still afraid subconsciously. She felt very uncomfortable coming to a place like this. Oh, Li Chen smiled when he heard this. The person who supports Sister Li also works in her own company. Don't be afraid, come with me. Li Chen entered first. Li Nanfei glanced at Shen Yanqing, then took the initiative to hold her little hand and said, let's go. Seeing this little adult taking the initiative to hold her hand, Shen Yanqing thought to herself that she couldn't show her timidity. She was not even as good as a child, so she had to follow Li Chen in anxiously. The receptionist was still impressed by Li Chen. When he saw Li Chen coming, he was so frightened that he stood up immediately. Prepare a private room, and call all the senior officials over. Li Chen ordered. Yes, the receptionist nodded immediately and left quickly. Mr. Li, the private room is ready. A waiter came over and led the way. Shen Yanqing was pulled in a little slowly by Li Nanfei. By the time they came in, Li Chen had already carried Li Biwu upstairs. Private room number 303. Li Chen waved his hand and asked the waiter to leave first. Shen Yanqing and Li Nanfei followed behind, and just when they were about to go in, a voice sounded. You bastards, how dare you come here? At the corner of the third floor, the voice that appeared was none other than Sister Li. Sister Li stared at Li Chen and the four of them with hatred. Her eyes seemed to be breathing fire, and she looked at them with extremely bitter eyes. Shen Yanqing was so frightened that she quickly hid behind Li Chen. Li Nanfei didn't panic at all, and his eyes fell on Li Chen. He still remembered what Li Chen told Shen Yanqing before, saying that he wanted Shen Yanqing to come to work at his place. If that's the case, doesn't it mean that this KTV belongs to him? Li Nanfei didn't believe it. Even if this KTV was only at the level of a small town, it was not cheap. It's going to be millions more. Sister Li came over with someone, looked at Li Chen and the four of them jokingly and said, "Boy, today I want you to understand that there are some people you can't afford to offend." "Oh," Li Chen responded lightly, handed Li Biwu to Shen Yanqing, and opened the door of the private room at the same time. "You go in first." Shen Yanqing swallowed her saliva, then bravely took over Li Biwu and pulled Li Nanfei in. "Stop! Who let you in?" Sister Li's sharp voice sounded. Li Chen watched Sister Li calling people up, narrowed his eyes and said, "It's not your turn to make the decision here, right? I am the boss here." Sister Li sneered with a smug look on her face. "Do you know who I am? Yu Zanhai, the general manager of this KTV, is my lover." "Oh," Li Chen smiled when he heard it, and pushed open the private room and said, "Then call Yu Zanhai, I'll wait for him here." "Boy, you are looking for death," the burly man next to him said angrily. "You also called Mr. Yu's name randomly." Li Chen ignored them and turned to enter the private room. Sister Li snorted coldly and said, "Go and call old Yu." As soon as the voice fell, several figures walked quickly. The leader was Yu Zanhai. Sister Li didn't expect Yu Zanhai to come so quickly, and quickly twisted her waist and walked towards Yu Zanhai. "Old Yu." Yu Zanhai didn't expect Sister Li to leave yet, so he said, "Wait a minute, I want to see our boss." "Your boss?" Sister Li's eyes lit up when she heard this. "Is it that mysterious man? He also crippled Brother Hu and others." "Be careful with your words," Yu Zanhai scolded. Sister Li quickly shut up. "He was a ruthless man." "What are you doing here? Didn't I tell you? I met a pretty boy, and he also brought that bitch and the little bastard here to sing," Sister Li said with a wronged look. "You have to make the decision for me." Yu Zanhai was very fond of this, and quickly hugged Sister Li and said softly, "Don't worry, I will definitely support you. But I have to see the boss first. Then I'll go with you. I also want to meet this boss," Sister Li said immediately. She also has her own little thoughts. If this boss is handsome and likes mature people like her, she may not be unable to get promoted. Good birds choose trees to live in, and she also hopes that there will be more powerful people to protect her in the future. "You can follow me, but don't talk too much." Yu Zanhai didn't think much about it, and then warned seriously. "I know." Sister Li was overjoyed when she heard it. Standing behind Yu Zanhai were all deputy general managers and supervisors. Everyone, led by Yu Zanhai, came to 303 together. Sister Li, who was accompanying them, looked more and more confused and solemn. "This is not right. Didn't you say you were going to see the boss? How did you get to the private room of that pretty boy?" "Knock knock." Yu Zanhai knocked on the door without giving Sister Li a chance to ask questions. "Mr. Li, we are all here, can we come in?" You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami Gua. Chapter 109. Come in. Yu Zanhai nodded and carefully opened the private room door. There were two children sitting next to Li Chen, and a woman beside him. Sister Li, who was following Yu Zanhai, turned pale little by little. Even if her IQ is not high enough, she understands everything now. Her cheeks, which were originally pale due to the foundation, now showed no trace of blood. When Yu Zanhai walked in with others, he didn't realize that Sister Li's legs behind him were like lead, and it was so laborious to lift every step. Sister Li didn't even dare to raise her head to look at Li Chen, her head was buzzing and went blank. Mr. Li! Everyone shouted in unison. Shen Yanqing was startled. Mr. Li? What Mr. Li? Her eyes instantly caught sight of Sister Li with her head lowered in the crowd, and her pretty face changed slightly. But thinking of the attitudes of these people, especially Yu Zanhai's, she looked sharply at Li Chen beside her. Mr. Li? He is Mr. Li. Li Chen was teasing Li Biwu with one hand and holding the microphone with the other. Sister Li, didn't you say your mistress was here? Who is it? Let him stand up. Yu Zanhai's heart skipped a beat when he heard Li Chen call him Sister Li. Sister Li in the crowd was so frightened that her legs weakened and she knelt down. Li, Mr. Li, I'm sorry. Sister Li's voice was full of tears. I was wrong, I was blind and couldn't see the mountain. Yu Zanhai's mind was in a mess. When he saw Sister Li kneeling down, he had already connected everything together. At that moment, he felt a surge of blood rushing straight to his forehead, and he wanted to kick Sister Li away. Damn it! It's not good for you to offend anyone, but you should offend this evil god. In Yu Zanhai's heart, there were thousands of grass and mud horses galloping past, and he even wanted to die. Li Chen sat without moving, glanced over, took the microphone and said, Who is Yu Zanhai? Mr. Li, it's me. Yu Zanhai showed a smile that was even uglier than crying. Oh. It's you. Li Chen didn't have much impression of Zanhai. The previous leadership team had not been changed, mainly because he didn't want people to be distracted. Of course, he doesn't have the manpower to arrange it. Sister Li, your concubine. No, it's not. Yu Zanhai was so frightened that he knelt down quickly. Mr. Li, this is all a misunderstanding. No, this is not a misunderstanding. Li Chen shook his head and said, I have no objection to her scolding me, scolding my child, and she wants to continue to find trouble. I can't bear it. Since you are his protective umbrella, then I will help you, and you can get out together. Boom. Yu Zanhai felt as if he had been struck by lightning, and he was stunned. You know, there is only this KTV in this town. He is the general manager, and his salary is very high. The key is, there is a lot of oil and water here. Now, just because of Sister Li, a stupid woman, his iron rice bowl has been lost. How can he bear it? Mr. Li, I was wrong. Take him out. Li Chen waved his hand. Mr. Li, give me another chance. Yu Zanhai was forcibly dragged away by the security guards, and he and Sister Li also got out together. When Li Chen had no room for relaxation, Yu Zanhai couldn't bear it anymore, broke free from the security guards, and kicked Sister Li hard. Dog thing. It's all you who hurt me. Yu Zanhai is like a mad dog. He has witnessed the tragedy of Brother Hu and others with his own eyes. It is only a fool to seek revenge from Li Chen. All the anger and unwillingness were vented on Sister Li. Ah! Sister Li let out a shrill scream. Everyone in the private room was so scared that they didn't dare to move. Li Chen pointed to Shen Yanqing, who was completely stunned, and said, This is the future general manager Shen Yanqing. Let's all get to know each other. Hello, Mr. Shen. The rest of the people quickly congratulated him. Shen Yanqing still hasn't recovered, mainly because the scene is so exciting. She never expected that the dominant tiger family in the town's KTV would be the man next to her. From now on, Mr. Shen has the right to kill first and then show off. Everyone disperses. Li Chen waved his hand. In the private room, only 4 people, Shen Yanqing, were left. Li Biwu didn't understand what happened just now, while Li Nanfei was thoughtful. Shen Yanqing waited for the person to leave, then hesitated for a while and said, Mr. Li, I'm sorry, I can't hold this position. Why, Li Chen was very confused. Shen Yanqing had promised well before. Seeing Li Chen asking questions, Shen Yanqing's delicate body trembled slightly, and she said as if she mustered up great courage, "You are a good person, at least to me. But the boss of Haowen KTV is not. They bully the people in the town, it's not just 1 or 2 days." Hearing this, Li Chen understood. She, Shen Yanqing, is just an insignificant person, but she also has her own persistence. If you, Li Chen, are the people who bully the people in the fish and meat village, she will never be disobedient. Li Chen smiled and said, "Are you worried that I am a bad person?" "Yes." "What if I said, I just took over this KTV?" Li Chen looked at Shen Yanqing playfully. He originally planned to insert random individuals and then gradually take control of the KTV. He really didn't expect that Shen Yanqing actually had such a side, which greatly surprised him. Shen Yanqing looked at Li Chen blankly, obviously not expecting this result. "Whether to take over or not is up to you. You can also ask." Li Chen picked up Li Biwu and said, "If you have figured it out, come here to work tomorrow." Li Nanfei slid down from the sofa and quickly followed Li Chen's pace. Shen Yanqing stared blankly at Li Chen, who had left, as if she was in a dream. After being dazed for a long time, Shen Yanqing decisively went to the KTV to find out. Now everyone in the KTV knows that Shen Yanqing is the airborne general manager. Yu Zanhai was fired and dared not hide it from her. After understanding the situation, Shen Yanqing took a deep breath. She knew that she had wronged Li Chen. Thinking of Li Chen's help and support, Shen Yanqing clenched her delicate fist. A drop of water should be repaid with a spring. Although she has little experience, she still has some IQ. Li Chen supported her, first to help her, and secondly, I am afraid that he also wanted to use her to check and balance the entire KTV and gradually control the KTV. After all, the team of this KTV is not his, Li Chen. Even if he changes people, he has to do it slowly and without bloodshed. "Mr. Li, don't worry, I will never let you down." Shen Yanqing stood at the door, muttering to herself. Seeing that Li Nanfei didn't want to be held, Li Biwu insisted on walking down. Li Nanfei was a little helpless because Li Biwu wanted to hold his hand. Although she is his sister, Li Nanfei thinks his sister is too childish and doesn't want to hold her. Li Chen brought the two little guys to the seed shop. There are still many seeds missing in the village, and Li Chen has to buy some. However, Li Chen didn't see any good ones after looking around, so he took the two little guys to the flower shop. Although this is a small town, there are really many flowers planted nearby. "Boss, is this Juliet Rose?" The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami Gua. Chapter 110. "Brother, you have good taste." The boss immediately came over with a smile, ready to hand over a cigarette, but when he saw two cute kids, he put the cigarette away again. "Isn't this the genuine product?" Li Chen looked at it and smiled. The boss didn't expect to meet someone who knew the product, so he sighed, "Yes, this flower is too difficult to cultivate. I cultivated it myself, and the appearance and sales appearance are not good, and the vitality is also weak." "Do you have seeds?" Li Chen asked with a smile. Juliet Rose is known as the 300 pounds existence, and it has been rated as the most popular rose for many years. If it can be cultivated easily, this kind of flower would have been everywhere. "Yes," the boss said, "do you want to plant it too?" "Yes. I advise you, if you buy this flower seed, you might as well choose ghost orchid or a shuguan heading lotus petal orchid." Li Chen raised his eyebrows slightly when he heard this. I didn't expect that this boss was actually a real person. Although Juliet Rose is the first on the top list, its popularity is far less than that of ghost orchid and shuguan heading lotus petal orchid. Moreover, the latter two often occupy the second and third places on the top list. Being able to give such honest advice, It seems that this boss is also a person who loves and appreciates flowers, not just a pure businessman. Boss, you are generous, Li Chen said with a smile, then give me some of the flower seeds here. Lao Ben was shocked when he heard this, and looked at Li Chen, a little uncertain. All? Yes, all, Li Chen nodded with a smile, and affirmed again and again. These flower seeds with higher international rankings are very expensive, have you considered it carefully, the boss reminded again and again. On the one hand, he didn't want Li Chen to waste money. On the other hand, he didn't want anyone to waste seeds. Although money is important, you can't just care about money in life. I'm sure, pack them all for me, Li Chen said. The boss didn't waste any words and directly picked out all the seeds. How many acres can this package of seeds plant? The boss's eyelids jumped when he heard this. You want to plant a lot? Yes. Then these are not enough, the boss shook his head and said, are you sure you want more? Yes. The boss looked at Li Chen suspiciously, and was finally packed up by him. A total of 136,500. Just give 136,000. This is definitely a big order. The boss was also generous and directly wiped out the 500 cents. Li Chen paid 136,500, and the system rebate was 20 times, and 2.73 million was credited to the account. Do you need me to arrange a car to send it back for you? Then trouble you, Li Chen thanked him. He definitely can't get so many seeds back by himself. Since the boss is willing to send it back, it's naturally great. Soon, the boss arranged a car and loaded the seeds on the car. Li Chen took Li Biwu and Li Nanfei, two cute kids, back to the village again. Li Chuanlong has already made a small bamboo rocking chair. When Li Biwu saw this miniature chair, her eyes lit up. Wow, great-grandfather, is this for Xiao? Li Biwu's eyes were full of stars, and she asked expectantly. Yes, it's for Xiao, my great-grandfather's favorite, Li Chuanlong said in Li Biwu's tone. Li Biwu jumped up happily and rushed over, smacked Li Chuanlong. This made Li Chuanlong laugh. Flatterer. Li Nanfei, who was standing aside, curled his lips and despised his sister's behavior. Sci-fi, your small bamboo rocking chair can only be made in the evening. This is made by Grandpa for you. When Li Chuanlong took out a bamboo horse from the house, Li Nanfei's eyes widened. This green bamboo horse immediately attracted his attention. Come on, try it. Li Nanfei sat on it, and his butt was a little cold. This is similar to a carousel, but it is purely handmade and can rock back and forth. Grandpa, Li Nanfei's eyes were slightly red, and he slammed into Li Chuanlong's arms. Thank you. As long as you like it, as long as you like it. Humph. Li Biwu stamped her feet, pouted her lips, and was very unhappy. I don't like Sangguo anymore. I don't like Grandpa anymore. Yes, Li Biwu is jealous. Li Chen standing aside couldn't help laughing. This little guy was actually jealous. Li Chuanlong patted Li Nanfei, and then waved at Li Biwu. Does Xiao really not like Grandpa? Humph. Hey, Grandpa prepared a small bamboo horse for you, since Xiao doesn't like the old man. Oh, Xiao was just joking with Grandpa just now. Li Biwu immediately ran over shamelessly, hugged Li Chuanlong and acted like a spoiled child. Li Chuanlong said with a straight face, but just now a little girl said that she didn't like the old man anymore. Who is it? Xiao helped Grandpa beat him, Li Biwu said with a chubby little fist. Li Chen and Li Nanfei held their foreheads with their hands. They still underestimated the thickness of Li Biwu's face. Li Nanfei looked at his childhood sweetheart who was one size younger than him, and then looked at his sister who kept acting coquettishly to Li Chuanlong, and sighed. He thought he had been acting for so long and had a thick skin. But compared with his stupid sister, he couldn't even catch up. Li Chen had already transported all the seeds down and sent them all to the warehouse. Li Chen, Dr. Zhao is here. He went back when he saw you were not at home. He asked me to remind you not to forget to study medicine, Li Chuanlong said. Li Chen was startled and slapped his forehead fiercely. I have been too busy recently and forgot about this matter. Although he just wanted to use the name of Dr. Zhao Dezu, he still had to pretend to be good. I will go there in the evening. Hearing this, Li Chuanlong continued to make a small bamboo rocking chair for Li Nanfei with a smile. He did not intend to take care of his grandson's affairs. If he had to take care of them, he would take care of his great-grandson's affairs. After arranging all the things, Li Chen also prepared to buy back the rest. The Chinese herbal medicines in the village will be negotiated directly. Li Chen actually received a lot of information, asking him if he would buy them. Although he said it in the village office, everyone was still worried. Li Chen replied to the message, saying that he would buy them door to door tomorrow, so please rest assured. The people in the village were relieved when the news spread. If Li Chen does not purchase, it will be several times more difficult for them to find buyers to buy alone. More importantly, even if everyone knows that those blocked people are gone for the time being, they are still uneasy. After all, profiteers outside will not give Li Chen such a high price. Li Chen also specially formed a large group, all of whom are people in the village. He will post any news and tasks in the group as soon as possible. After preparing the things at home, Li Chen's phone rang. The caller was Pan Sichen. He said he would arrive tomorrow and wanted to see the wheat. If the wheat is suitable, he plans to buy it all. Of course, Li Chen has no problem. Wheat sprayed with vitality water is definitely suitable for brewing. What's more, the wheat in the village is already very good. The quality is at least much more reliable than those wheat outside, which Li Chen can guarantee. Xiao Wu, you guys stay at home, I'm going to Dr. Zhao's house. Li Biwu immediately ran over and said, Dad, I want to go too. Li Biwu was completely clinging to Li Chen now, and was afraid that Li Chen would run away. I want to go too. Just when Li Chen was about to agree, Li Nanfei also said coolly. Li Chen. What are you going for? Then what is she going for? Li Nanfei and Li Chen looked at each other. She's still young. I'm only 5 years old. If you hadn't said it, I would have almost forgotten. You're only 5 years old. Li Chen was in a big headache. He could see that this little guy didn't stick to him at all, so why did he follow him? Let's go, but don't make trouble. Li Chen couldn't leave one of them behind, so he could only agree.